All right, y'all. So that's when I started traveling. And my first missions trips out of the States was at Cancun, Mexico. So November 2017, that's where I was at Cancun, Mexico. And I was there for some months doing that. And then eventually I came back to the States, and I ended up moving to Nashville, Tennessee. And again, these people are on the side of my cousins to my father, on my dad's side. And I'm like, this is family, a different area, not Illinois, different state. No, that's not the case. I started off living there with one of my relatives who had some health issues. I had issues and everything. That became a hellhole. I was looking for work but couldn't find work. It was like snow blizzards. She didn't really live by the buses and everything. And then this same cousin and her sister who's homosexual, her girlfriend at the time, they came over. Because one day I came out and it was like a note, a shelter's name with the phone number sitting there. And I was like, okay. And that's when her sister came over, and they was like, yeah, we're going to take you, basically, you got to leave here. We're going to take you to the shelter. So I'm in Nashville with family members on my dad's side, and they put me in a shelter, a women's shelter. At the time, it was distasteful. You know, and just looking back at it like, dang, you know, but they were looking for ways to break me down, man. They were looking for ways to keep control over me. They were looking for ways to just paint this picture that I was unfit, all because of my destiny. But guess what? I flourished while I was at that women's shelter. You know, I helped out when I can. I never gave them problems. You know, I was able to get connected to a woman, this ministry that actually had a home for women. And they would go to the shelters and talk to the ladies and take applications, and they'd find out like who's a good fit to stay in these homes. Of course, you'd have other female roommates and everything, but it was a house. You know, you would pay rent, you know, weekly dues, but it was outside of the shelter. You know, it was different. You got access to the bathroom when you want to. You know, it was more freedom. You know, it was in the shelter. Who wouldn't want that? So I was able to do that for a little bit and found work. You know, I was able to that's when I became a senior home caregiver. And I was able to find work. And then that's not only that, that's when I really learned the importance of safety at another level, because the home I stayed in, one of the things that we could not do was have people just come over. So we had to, if people were picking us up or we were getting a cab or whatever, we had to meet like down the street because of the safety of the women. Because there was a situation before I got there, I would say, the lady shared with me like months before, one of the lady's boyfriends came over when it was okay. They ended up breaking up, and he ended up causing issues, meaning he popped back up at the house and was causing issues towards her and the other woman. So they was like, for the safety measures, y'all gonna have to start meeting people down the hill, around the block, whatever, but just they can't come to the house. So that's why I am the way I am now. Like, and it just makes sense, because I'm like, think about it, especially those of y'all who date and all that. It's so easy and so quick to give out your address. So easy to say, oh, come and pick me up. I'm big now on, I'd rather meet you somewhere. Because I like to keep everything separate. If you're not my husband, well, I don't need to be in your house. You know, I can see if you're having to get together and everything, but at the end of the day, I like to keep things separate. So, you know, so many times people be like, oh, I can pick you up. Oh, no, I can meet you somewhere. The same thing, like, it could be an Uber, it could be anything. I like to just meet somewhere else, because I'm telling you, it's so much stuff, especially in the world we live in. People are crazy as hell. They get your address and they sick in the head, or they plotting, or they just protect your homes. A lot of y'all just too lax to giving out your information. Y'all give out your addresses. Y'all, so I don't even like to give out my number like that. I'm like, look, we could probably connect on social media if that, but I can easily block you, you know, but it's just, some of y'all are just too lax. Y'all just giving this open door to Satan, because he just needs to crack. Hold on, y'all. I gotta check my battery, because it's telling me the battery is